So I thought I'd do a flight with a little E-flite or Horizon. I don't know whether they're using the E-flite brand. Yes, they are. It still says E-flite on him. Anyway, UMX Waco. Bought this guy just after the Valiant, and I've never actually done a video with him. A little bit windy for him today. I like this guy generally. Flies very well, looks very stylish, very nice. The one thing I don't like so much about him is the wheel pants. I mean, yes, they look very stylish and scale and all that, but yeah, his undercarriage really doesn't work that well for grass, and I'm stuck with grass fields, and the wheel pants, they were held on by tape. They tend to fall off. They're kind of fragile. I've already sort of broken one of them. But his undercarriage is built in such a way that it wouldn't be that easy. I suppose you could take it's not that simple to switch out the wheels on him. And it looks nice. I mean, it does look nice. It's just,
Ruffle cut off.
Let's see if we can do it. Whoa. It's windy. That was a weird takeoff, but, because I got to allow for the wind as soon as I got him off the table, the wind was taking him. So the nice thing about him, and it's not easy to see. Got to remember that, because it's, I don't want to let him get too far away. There's no mist. It's not mist at all. It's just because it's heavily overcast and kind of dark. Sun's well up now. It's not because it's not daytime. It's just heavily overcast and getting fairly windy, as I say. So, very maneuverable and all that, this guy. But it is very windy now for a small guy like this. He's got AS3X, of course, which helps with the wind. Just AS3X, this guy, no 6-axis stabilization.
6 minutes.
Yeah, he's not going to displace the UMX J-3 Cub in my affections, I don't think. Not really. Even though, he's probably, you could do some slightly fancier stuff in the right conditions with him. But the J-3 Cub's got plenty of power as well, and, I fly the J-3 Cub on floats. Now again, this guy doesn't have a float option. There would be no easy way to mount floats on this guy. E-flite don't support a float option, and there wouldn't be any easy way to do it, and he's not really meant to be a float plane. For such a small plane, he's remarkably stable in the wind, yes. And he flies well, that's what they always say about AS3X, he flies like a much bigger plane.
Time remaining, 5 minutes.
Yeah, the wind, you could see the wind twitching him around there. That's not me, that's just the gusty wind twitching him around there. But it would be throwing him around a lot worse. It's basically twitching, the wind's throwing him, and then the AS3X is compensating. That's why you're seeing that twitching. If there was no AS3X, the wind would probably basically just be throwing him over. Let's do the famous Immelman turn here. Yeah, and he does a pretty tidy Immelman turn. He does most things pretty tidily, in all fairness. He's very controllable. And he's got plenty of power for what he is, for his size. He's basically the same power unit, I think, as the UMX J-3 Cub, isn't it? I didn't look exactly at the motor, but it's your typical small UMX 2-cell powered brushless motor. I'm assuming it's pretty the same. See, he's lurching over because of the wind. I may be running him a bit too slowly as well, but I assume it's the same one that's in the UMX J-3 Cub and the same one that's in the Cessna. But to my mind, it performs best in the J-3 Cub. I like the performance of the J-3 Cub best. This guy's got lots of power, and the extra, the extra wing area and everything give him, a bit more authority in some areas, so you can probably do some tricks with this guy. I'm not really a trick flyer. As you can always see, I'm nowhere trick flyer, but you can do tricks with this guy. I'm not going to try and do it now in all this wind, but, intermittent wind, it comes and goes, but you can knife edge this guy quite nicely. Even I can knife edge this guy. I don't know whether I'd try and knife edge the J3 Cub, certainly not with floats on it, which is how I usually fly it. But probably pretty much most tricks you could think of you could do with this guy. But the other side of that is he doesn't feel quite as firmly controlled. It's the way things go. Planes that are more maneuverable tend to feel slightly less firmly controlled, because to give them the agility they have to be, a bit skittery. The J3 Cub and the Valiant that I was flying just earlier today are very firmly controlled. They have plenty of power and you can do what you want with them, but they seem to be very firmly under control the whole time. This guy, yes, you've got lots of control, but he's a wee bit more twitchy and skittery. Just a wee bit. Not massively, but now that wind it keeps changing direction as well, which is confusing. It's not like you can think, oh, I'm flying into the wind and be sure of it, because it keeps coming up and down and changing direction. That's mainly into the wind, which is why he's going so slowly. But then you can see he suddenly goes a bit faster because the wind dies away. Anyway, he is a nice plane. He looks lovely. He performs well. In general, yes, I would recommend him. But if I had the choice, I'd rather have the J3. I'd keep the J3 Cub. If I had to give one of them up, I'd still keep the J3 Cub over this guy. On the other hand, I'd keep this guy over the Cessna. The Cessna's very pretty looking, but yeah, it doesn't fly anywhere near as well as this guy in the J3 Cub. The UMX Cessna I'm talking about, the E-flite UMX Cessna. Very pretty looking plane, and it flies okay, and it has safe mode, which for people, so it might be the Cessna might be a better bet for someone who really wants to have the safe mode. But which neither this guy nor the UMX 3 Cub have. Jenny is telling me I should be landing, and she's quite right, especially in all this wind. We can't have a lot of battery left. I'll try not to fly into the fence here, and he won't. Yes, he's almost impossible to land without flipping him over, because those little wheels with the pants are just not going to run on this grass. They're just not going to. And as I say, I think the first time I landed him on grass, one of the pants just flew right off, because they were only, when it went by default coming, from the factory or whatever, they're only held on by two little tiny bits of tape. Those foam pants. So I've not got my strap on, and let go of my transmitter there, which wouldn't have been a good idea since it's not hanging on the strap. It would just fall into the ground if I'd have let go of it. Yeah, so that one got mashed up. Oh, that was my fault. I mean, I had a bit of a crash with him, but still. But yeah, on the other hand, as I say, even just with a normal landing like I just did there, which is a pretty normal landing on grass, those pants will just fly off. If the outer part, the foam part of those pants. The inner part now is a piece of plastic, and I don't think there's even any real way of getting that off, is there? It's probably glued on. I haven't tried to get it off. Oh, maybe if you take the wheels off, you can take that off. I'd have to see if I wanted to do it. Your first step, of course, would be to take the pants off, which are just held on by the outer part of the pants, which are just held on by tape. Anyway, there you go. What have I got the timer set to on him? 7 minutes, which is not bad, for a little plane like that. He's flying off the little UMX 2 cells.